All of us were frustrated and mad and felt like we didn't play as well, coach as well as we can, and gives us a great opportunity to improve this week against another top 10 team in Clemson. And, we did have some guys beat up in the game. I don't know statuses or any of that. Probably won't till tomorrow. Everybody is progressing. Nobody's out for the season. It's just going to be a day-to-day thing as we try to get these guys back. And Naheem was walking around today and said he felt a lot better. So that's positive. And as was Justin Jones, he said he felt really good. I haven't seen Darian yet, and Darius Bryant, which I think he'll be fine. So we'll just have to see by tomorrow where we're at for practice. Clemson, 7-1 football team with number 1 ranked defense in the ACC, and second in scoring defense, second in rushing, first in pass, first in total, first in sacks. So a really good defensive team that we're playing. Offensively, they're fourth, scoring 32 points a game and very balanced, 200 plus in both categories, with a very fast tailback and excellent receiving core, as Clemson always has, and Kelly Bryant's completing 67% of his passes. So great challenge, a game that our players are excited to play in, and a game we've played well against them, and obviously want to find a way to win this football game. And the guys will work their butts off to do that. Excited for homecoming and hoping that the crowd is like it was with the Louisville game. We need crowd noise in this game big time to make them have to operate on their silent count. And it is a full moon, and so asking people to come out and be loud and crazy, and student section and all those things, because all of it helps our football team play well. And I know we'll be ready to play regardless of who can or can't. By the time we get to Saturday, the guys that are out there are going to play hard, and look forward to seeing that. So, questions?
From Watson.
Yeah, they're running the quarterback more. I think that's the biggest thing. Last year they ran their tailback, and and they had a great tailback last year. So, they're really not that much different when you watch them, other than that Kelly Bryant's running the ball a little bit more than Deshaun did. But they're still taking their shots down the field. They still have their perimeter screen packages. Renfro's playing really good football in the slot for them, and they rotate 2 different types of tailbacks, and Etienne is scary with the ball. And Kane and McLeod are really good football players, different, outside guys, a bigger guy and a real quick guy, and both the returners. Etienne is a returner, and so is McLeod. So, but, they're going to take what you give them. They look at how you're lined up, and then they're going to try to get into the plays they want to be in, and we've got to make plays on the ball for sure. They absolutely remember it, but it's not last year. So, all that is going to do is serve for how much they want to win it this year. But they're 2 different teams, and we had several players in that game that aren't on our team anymore, and the guys that played in that football game remember it well, and I'm sure their players do too. It was a great game. I asked them yesterday, first thing, where do you think we're at? And they said we're in first place and we control our own destiny. So that was a good sign to hear. The first thing out of their mouth was they knew that we're playing for a lot still. And they were disappointed, I think, because, you play in a football game and there was 11 penalties in the first half, and many of them were there. A lot of them were calls that don't usually get made, but they called them. And our goal going to Notre Dame was to play our best football we could play. And I think that was the disappointment. We didn't feel like we did that. Not that we lost the game. Obviously, we want to win every single game, but we wanted to play our best in that game. And all that is better than you were the week before. And we didn't do that. So we did it for a short span of time, and I think that was their frustration. And that's a good frustration to have, because you can learn from that. And it wasn't hard to snap them in. Immediately you start talking about what's left on the table for them and who they play. It was pretty quick.
Kelvin Harmon, the ball.
He's a big body that has really good ability to track the football, and he's got strong hands. He's a hard guy to climb, he's really strong. People are on his back, and he just holds them off and catches the ball. I think the fade ball he's always been really good at. You know, you're seeing him catch a lot more inside plays, and I think the play that I was probably most excited to see was the quick screen where he accelerated, and that's the fastest we've seen him, you know, from a short play accelerate with the ball. I think our strength guy said he was running 21 miles an hour or something on that play, which for a guy that's 220 pounds is pretty impressive. Yeah. Well, we want to control where we go, and I think as a football team, as a coaching staff, that's something you always want to be able to do. We're into November now, and we want this conversation to continue. And every game we play brings us closer and closer and closer to, you know, where we want to be at the end. And it's just again a short-term focus, knowing that we got to beat Clemson, and to do that, we've got to play much better than we played last week. And so it's just how do you get them from where they were to where they want to be, and focusing on those details and making sure we put a game plan together that the kids can play fast with and execute and make the plays needed.
Why have they been so successful this year?
Well, it starts with their players. I mean, they got great players, and they're huge up front, and they're deep. 6'5", 6'5", 6'4", 6'4", 6'4", 6'5", you know, all of them are over 300 pounds inside, and rotation at end is 260, 265, 255, 265. So, I mean, it's big, long bodies, which is what you want in your front. Their linebackers are super well-coached guys, and he's got a couple guys that are making a ton of plays. You know, Dorian O'Daniel has 5 sacks on the year, 4 pressures and an interception, 58 tackles, and Kendall Joseph has 66 tackles. And so those 2 guys are active. He's got 3 North Carolina kids in the secondary, and I know this game will matter to those kids. So it's going to be a great game, you know, and I've known Brent Venables a long time, since we're both Kansas boys, and I think he's a great coach, and he'll have his guys ready to play.